Happy Friday. It's Friday, November 21st, 2025. I'm Jeff Arnold, and this is 5 Minute Friday. So, this week I had a different topic I was going to cover, but I just got off a call with a reporter who was doing an article for a magazine. And as she was asking me about the various things that we do for our clients, I was talking about primarily time savings, automating mundane tasks, the topics that we have as far as, having high value people doing low value work. We try to make sure that we get rid of that for companies. But the one thing I started telling her as an example of how automation is beneficial was something that, of course, being an analytical mind, I don't necessarily look at that immediately as a huge, asset that I think about. But after I got done telling her the example of things that we could do, she was just blown away. And she goes, I think that is what you need to talk about. She goes, that to me is a huge asset for what you can do with automation. And I know I mentioned it, when I do my professional speech, I have it mentioned there. I mentioned it in my book a little bit, but I didn't really emphasize it too much. And what that is using automation to make the onboarding process spectacular for a new employee when you have a new hire. So I was telling her that a lot of people think that when you use automation, you make your process less personal. It becomes robotic. But if you do it properly, it actually enhances the way that you come across as being personable. So the example I was giving her is, think about the standard, new hire process. I've gone through this, and she started laughing as soon as I said it. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I've done the same thing." But you have a situation where somebody's a new hire. They have their interview, they get the offer letter or they get the acceptance, and they say, "Hey, congratulations, you're coming on board. Come in Monday at 8 a.m. and we'll get you started." And they're like, "Great," right? They're all fired up. They have this new job. They're all excited. And then they show up Monday morning and they get to the front desk and they say, "Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm the new hire." And the guy, "What department are you in?" "Okay. Well, hold on a second." And then so they end up calling somebody in the department and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, I forgot Jeff's coming in today. Okay. Okay, I'll be down in a few minutes." And then that person finishes up a phone call or an email. Meanwhile, Jeff's sitting in the lobby for another 10, 15 minutes and finally gets taken up to the office and they go, "Okay, well, let's get you started. Here's your pile of paperwork you need to fill out to new hire." Boom. And they have this stack of paperwork. They have to go through, fill out all the paperwork, do all that kind of stuff. And then finally, it takes them an hour to do that. And then finally, it's time to get started. And they're like, "Okay, let's get started." So they go to their computer, and it's time to get started on their computer. They don't have a login. They don't have access. They don't have the information they need. And then so the supervisor has to call down to IT. IT has to come up and try to configure. But by the time they're done, it's lunchtime. So they've had this horrible experience, right? They're like, "Man, did I make the right decision coming to work for a company that can't even get me in the door?" Um, and so I said, what you can do with automation now, like imagine this, right? So everybody I think has gone through that at some point. So imagine what it could be, right? The could be is the person gets hired. The hiring manager puts into the system that this person's been hired, all their information's there, fires off an email to the person. "Hey, Jeff, congratulations. We're looking forward to having you work for XYZ company. Hey, on Monday morning, come in the front door at 8 a.m. We're going to have the supervisor scheduled to meet with you, and you can talk with that person, ask any questions you have. Remember to bring in a physical copy of your driver's license and your social security card so we can verify the information that you're going to provide to us. And we're really looking forward to having you start." Then on Sunday night, an email comes from the supervisor. "Hey, Jeff, I'm Mary. I'm the supervisor for the department. I know you're starting tomorrow morning. I'm really excited to get to meet you. Looking forward to seeing you in the morning." So at the same time as the Jeff got the hiring letter, at the very same time he did that, it kicked off this whole series of automation. So it schedules that email to go out on Sunday night. It schedules an appointment on Mary's calendar for 8 a.m. when Jeff is coming in. New hire intro, Jeff Arnold, and it has the information there. Then the day after they get hired, they get another email. Jeff gets another email. It says, hey, Jeff, congratulations on getting hired. Let's expedite the process of getting you onboarded. Here's a package you can fill out online with all of your pre-employment paperwork, and be sure to upload a copy of your social security card and your driver's license, and we'll verify the physical copy when you get in. So now Jeff goes in. He's all excited, right? Fires up gets all the documentation done. The documentation goes in, it's reviewed by somebody inside of HR, everything's signed off, ready to go. Also, at the same time Jeff was hired, it fires off information over to the IT team. Hey, Jeff's going to need a key card to get in the building. He's also going to need to make sure he has a computer provisioned and ready to go at 8 a.m. on Monday morning. Make sure he has all the passwords and everything else he needs. And then maybe there's an employee handbook that goes out to Jeff via email, maybe the day after he fills out all of his employment paperwork. Now there's another email that goes out that says, hey, looking forward to having you on board. Here's this. Finally, Jeff gets there on Monday morning. He walks in the door. Mary's standing there. Hey, Jeff, how are you? Thanks. I'm looking forward to having you be part of the team. Jeff's like, okay, great. Well, hey, let's go have a quick meeting, and then we can work on getting you started. We already have all your paperwork. Your computer's ready to go, and all we need to do is just verify physical copies of your, 2 documents, and you're going to be good to go. We're ready to have you start working. So now the experience that Jeff has had coming in is fantastic. Right? He's getting first day paperwork from things. A supervisor emailed him the night before just to say she's excited to see him in the morning. And then all of a sudden he walks in and it seems like they really know what they're doing. They have him ready to go. His computer's provisioned. He's going to get a key card. Like everything he needs is right there. Then you can even go the next step further, which is maybe on Thursday, right? Jeff started Monday. On Thursday, there's an email that comes from the vice president, depending on how big the company is, from the vice president or the department head or whatever it is, just saying, hey, Jeff, I know they told me that you started on Monday. I just wanted to check in to see how things were going, right? And just a quick little email. Doesn't have to be flowery, doesn't have to have HTML and pictures and all kinds of stuff. Just a quick, simple email like that. And Jeff's like, wow, like the department head knows that I'm here. And, it just brings about just a fantastic onboarding experience. And all of that can be done using automation. And so anyway, I shared this with the interviewer who was talking to me, and she was blown away by the concept. She said, you're focusing on how much money you can save companies, but she thinks that it's really important that we talk about how we really enhance the human aspect of the human resources department. So I figured I would go ahead and skip my regularly scheduled programming that I had scheduled for today. And I just wanted to bring that up because I think it is something that I know that I do. I skip over that a lot because I focus on, I'm analytical and I focus on the financial side of things, but that's the human side of things, is you really can enhance the experience that your onboarding people have, right? As they're coming on as a new hire, their onboarding experience is just phenomenal. They maintain that excitement that they have about the job as they go forward. That can also be extended on to, 90-day, 1 week check-ins, 1 month check-ins, 90-day check-ins, whatever you want. You can set up all of that check-in process to see how things are going. But for the initial onboarding, you can set up a phenomenal process for that. So anyway, Friday, November 21st, just want to say happy birthday to my dad, celebrating his 86th. I will talk to you guys next week.